For the long Labor Day weekend, I decided to finally get down to check out the Root River. I planned an overnight trip from Houston, Minnesota to the Mississippi River. Speaking of Houston, Minnesota, it is the home of the International Owl Center, where they have programs to learn about owls. If you plan to go, check ahead of time on what events they might be offering. It's a bit of a drive from Minneapolis to Houston. I planned an afternoon paddle to the Mound Prairie campsite, only about 5.5 miles from Houston. I did keep an eye out for sandbars for camping, but even with the low water, there weren't really any. The Mound Prairie campsite is not nearly as nice as the Root River map put out by the DNR says. It says Mound Prairie campsite, which offers 2 sites, picnic tables and a pit toilet in pastured woodland setting. There was no easy way to scramble up the riverbank to the site, and somehow, even though the river was full of sand, the bottom of the riverbank below the campsite was mud, just enough that you would slip going up and down. And to even get up on the riverbank, I was holding onto grass to pull myself up. There were no picnic tables, and I think one of the fire pits was in the river where I pulled in. Every time I see one of these campsites along a river, I think I should have brought a machete. Once I managed to get my gear to the top and set up camp, I had no interest in doing anything else other than relaxing for the evening. There wasn't much reason to hang around the Mound Prairie campsite. I got up around sunrise, made pancakes, and tried to get an early start on the river. I prefer paddling in the morning. It is usually cooler, the sun coming up along the river is beautiful, and you usually have a better chance of seeing wildlife. It was another gorgeous morning in Minnesota, and actually got better as I went along. The cornfields on either side eventually gave way to the Upper Mississippi Wildlife Refuge. I much preferred this section of the river. In the future, I might skip the parts between Houston and Hoka and focus on the wildlife refuge as you approach the Mississippi. Once you get to the Mississippi, you have a few options. You can stay on the Minnesota side of the river, go downriver, and take out at Brownsville. The second option is to stay on the Minnesota side and go upriver to La Crescent. The third, and maybe not the best alternative, is to go upriver, cross the Mississippi, and take out in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I chose this option since I figured on catching an Uber there back to Houston to pick up my car. This worked out, but the river was windy and very busy with boats, making the crossing a little dicey. It was almost 2.5 miles upriver from the route to the 7th Street South boat ramp in La Crosse. It's amazing how beautiful the Mississippi is in this area. If you get down here, definitely check it out. As for the Root River, I'm curious to check out other sections of the river. Not totally enamored with the section between Houston and Hoka. Probably wouldn't camp there again. Definitely want to get back down there and check out the area where the Root River meets the Mississippi in the Upper Mississippi Wildlife Refuge.